Well, hey everyone, this is Don Smith. I want to welcome you to the September tip of the month. Kind of late in the month for it, but nonetheless, here we are. I have just returned from a awesome workshop out in Grand Teton National Park with my good friend and partner Ron Madra. And we had an awesome group of photographers out there, very talented bunch. The weather conditions were near perfect as far as no wind. We would have loved to have had a few more clouds around, but regardless, the days were perfect for fall color. It was in the 70s during the daytime and then freezing at night, and that stopped that chlorophyll production and allowed the pigments to come through. And I want to show you today the difference between two modules in Lightroom Classic. And one is called Hue Saturation and Luminance, and it's right there. And one down here is called Calibration. Now, this was a lesson that I had showed our group during our class session, one of the many lessons we went through. And I thought I would share this with you. And by the way, we are going to be back out in Grand Teton, same dates next year, September 23rd through 27th. I can only take 10 along with me, and as of this recording, we only have one spot left. So contact my wife, Barry, at the email address listed below, don@donsmithphotography.com, or you can hop on my website at don@donsmithphotography.com and just click on that workshop link and you can sign up. It's basically at this point first come, first serve. And once we fill up, then we will have to start a waiting list. Okay, so let's get started. I've gone through, this is a raw file of a morning shoot at Oxbow Bend, and we arrived pretty much in the dark. You can see we had some people down here along the river. We split the group. I had maybe 4 participants with me at this location, and Ron Madra was at another location a little bit higher. And nonetheless, people show up at all times. Crowd control, you really can't do it. But believe it or not, there would be people that would see us there and would walk right into this area and set up. So we would kindly ask them, hello, you're in our shot, and we were out here first. And, you know, by and large, people are really good. But the ones along the river, so they were showing more so. You can see a head here, one there, and there was actually a whole group of people through here. So one of the ways we dealt with it is we took a lower perspective. In other words, drop that tripod down and get lower and made more of this rabbit brush, I call it, sagebrush, whatever you want to call it. Make that more of a foreground element. I like the way the light was kind of creating these different layers. We had these warm grasses in here, and then these cottonwoods back in here along with some pines, and they were really starting to show their color. Still not at prime color, but I'm going to show you this little trick with calibration that really brings it out. Now this up here, we had some purple, and for you sharp-eyed people out there, I had some terrible spotting going on my sensor. I really should have cleaned it up. It has since been cleaned. I took care of a lot of it right here in Lightroom prior to starting this, but you can see if I click on just how dirty this was in here. And there's ways in Photoshop I can go about taking that out, but it was really quite a dirty sensor. So please pay attention and clean your sensor. So once the composition was set, then it was really just waiting for the light. This is what I call a twilight wedge. The more technical term would be the belt of Venus. It's as the warm rays early in the morning at dawn, and you can see this same phenomenon at dusk if you look away from where the sun is setting. The sun was coming up right behind me and had yet to hit the peaks or anything, but the warm rays, due to light scatter, you will get the warm rays bending up and over the curvature of the earth, And due to light scatter, all of the cooler light rays are scattered off, leaving just the warmish rays. And this blue light below it is actually the Earth's shadow. So I call it the Twilight Wedge. It's just something I've been using as that term, but Belt of Venus, Twilight Wedge. So let's, you can see that I've already gone through with the histogram up and made some adjustments here. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to get into the meat of this, and I'm going to show you the difference between the Calibration tab, where I'm going to start, and then we'll come up here in the Hue, Saturation, and Color tab. One thing you must know when you open this up, you are working on the raw file. This is a non-destructive edit, and you get three choices here. It breaks it down into RGB, so you get the red primary, saturation and hue, green primary, saturation and hue, and blue primary, saturation and hue. What I find works best for most landscape photos is if we take the saturation up on the blue channel. Now, I'm just going to ask you to look at the picture, and I'm going to pull this up 100% and look at the difference here from, from this to this with just pulling that one slider up. And it's now what's happening is you can't pull and isolate just the blue channel. It's going to interact with the green and with the red. I can come up to any one of these channels and try to pull a little bit more. I think I'm going over the top when I do that, so I'll reset it. We'll try the green primary, and you know, even that brings out a little more, but I just think it's getting a little too much and over the top. So really, let's just reset that. One tug, and we'll go up plus 100. Now, let me point out a few things. You can notice that the blue light in the earth shadow got far more intense, maybe more intense than I want it to. So that is when I come up to the Hue, Saturation, and Color module. And now I can go in and control just individual colors without affecting all of the other colors. So you can see, you can break this down into hue, and by default it'll be set at saturation, and then luminance is just the brightness. So what's the difference? Well, envision a red apple. There's all different shades of red. Okay, that's what the hue would do. It would change, it would still be a red, but it would change how we perceive or see the red. Saturation is once you set that color, how rich or how saturated do you want to make that color? And then luminance is strictly if we strip the color away and worked on the underlying black and white tonality. So we could darken that red, lighten that red. So a lot of control in this panel. You also see we get a choice from the warmest colors, red, orange, yellow, etc., all the way down to the cold colors, blue, purple, magenta. So do I have to guess? Would you just go in and say, do I just tug on the blue slider or do I tug on the aqua slider? Well, this little targeted adjustment tool is what I recommend. And when you click on it and move it in, you can see there is a crosshair and on the top left, and then there's the actual tool with arrows showing you the direction of the tool. So let's just drop it over the blue. And if I push up, that richens the blue, but that's not what I want to do. I want to pull down and take away some of that blue. And you can see actually here, it is seeing, it's taking down a -14, but it's adding 4 points in purple. So see, again, it takes all the guesswork out of it. If I want to richen up, for example, the Twilight Wedge, I would push it and push up this time. And that's taking strictly the purple. Actually, it deducted 2 points off the blue. And so, it just takes the guesswork out of it. Let's switch over and just, now that we know we're working in a purple primarily, and you can see that I can now bump the purple up even a little bit more and change the hue and the look and the feel of it. And we'll just hop over here to the tonality, which is called luminance. Remember, black and white. And there I could lighten it, there I could darken it, okay? So you get a really nice fine tuning of the color, but this is the one down here, and I've only been working this, I'll make an honest statement here, for about 2 months, but I do find in 95% of my photos, and especially in the fall color we shot out in Grand Teton, taking that blue slider on the saturation and moving it up really kind of richens up, and I can tell you honestly, this is more the color my eye was seeing rather than that, okay? So especially under this even light of the morning and on a clear sky day, most of the time I love working before the sun ever crests the horizon and or after the sun has set. I just like that soft feel and the emotional tug that you get with all the beautiful mountain-like colors. Some people in class asked me, what are these red things? They are some sort of a, wasn't a flower, but a part of a bush. You can see them, they're all over in here. When I first saw this, I thought it was like a red ribbon in here, and you can see it's really amplified those colors. I could pretty much put this picture out as is. I would probably, in Photoshop, take content aware fill and take that little guy out on the left-hand side and run my eye around here. I'd probably just darken down this bottom because that's a little bright and that's a little bright. But anyway, that is the difference between the calibration and hue saturation and luminance / color in Lightroom. And I hope you try it out on your own files and see what kind of results you get. Again, if you'd like to join us, one spot open. It's going to be first come, first serve. Send off that email, don@donsmithphotography.com. Barry will get right back to you, and we'll get you set up to come out with us. This is just such a gorgeous park. You don't want to miss this during the fall. Hey, until next month, you guys, you hang in there, and if you have any suggestions for videos you'd like to see, drop me an email, don@donsmithphotography.com. And I can't guarantee I'll do it, but I'm always looking for new topics. And if we get enough requests, we certainly will. So until then, happy shooting. Get out there, keep creating, have a lot of fun with your cameras, and you take care.